Hey, it's Matt Moscona. You found it, your home for the latest content on your favorite team, the LSU Tigers. And we're powered by BetUS. Remember, this football season, earn a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Check out BetUS in the description on this video. Day 6, LSU Fall Camp. Tigers were back at it. Outside media got to view about an hour and 15 minutes of drills. We only got to see one team period today, but there was a lot of special teams, there was a lot of wide receiver, defensive back work, and a couple of personnel notes when the first defense was out there against the scout offense. So we'll delve into all of that here. Let me start with I guess let me just start with the team period. We got to see one 7-on-7 period. And some of the notables, Harold Perkins came up with a pass breakup against John Emery. Ashton Stamps came up with a pass breakup against Mason Taylor. J.K. Johnson had an interception. J.K. Johnson had an interception off of a drop. Probably should have been caught. Aaron Anderson dropped a pass that was thrown from A.J. Swan. C.J. Daniels had a really nice reception over the middle where he beat Major Burns. And then Chris Hilton had a nice reception over the middle in double coverage. So I think what my big takeaway continues to be from this fall camp is that the offense keeps making plays, but the defense is getting theirs as well. Yes, great route by C.J. Daniels to beat Major Burns. Chris Hilton had a really nice route, reception, and coverage. But similarly, Harold Perkins had a pass breakup. Ashton Stamps had a pass breakup against Mason Taylor. He had an interception. So, yes, there's been wins and losses, and that's kind of gone both ways at every level of the offense and the defense so far through 6 days of fall camp, 5 of which we've been able to see. If I was going to even extrapolate that further, right when we got into practice, they did the pass catcher DB drill. So this is wide receivers, tight ends, running backs against a defensive back. There's no line, there's no safety. It's a one-on-one out wide. The receiver's running the route. The DB does not know the route that he's running, and he's got to go cover in space. So it's a very difficult drill for the defensive backs. And this was the drill last year where LSU's offense just absolutely annihilated the defense. Today, I charted 25 reps. The offense won 14. The defense won 11. That is way more than respectable. Kyron Lacey had a beautiful rep where he high points a ball against Ashton Stamps. Zy Alexander had an awesome pass breakup on a double move that Kyle Parker made. Javen Nicholas had a touchdown reception that would have been SportsCenter top 10 if it was in a game. I mean, it was Kylan Jackson was draped all over him, and he somehow held on to the ball through contact and through the ground. It was phenomenal. Well, Deshaun Spears had a great pass breakup against Kamorian Pimpton on the sideline where he undercut the route. Ashton Stamps had a pass breakup against Kyron Lacey. Mason Taylor caught a sideline pass against Jordan Gilbert where he dragged his foot. Every great play for one side, you saw it for another side. Chris Hilton beat Sage Ryan. The two matched up later, and Ryan got the better of Chris Hilton. It's competitive. I don't know any other way to say it. It wasn't competitive last year. It's competitive this year. They're getting better. They did have refs at practice on a Wednesday, and there were 2 holding calls, one against J.K. Johnson, one against Major Burns. And quite honestly, they missed one. Juwan Johnson hooked Trades Green's right arm as he came out of his cut, and the refs just flat missed it. But hey, if they missed it, they didn't call it. It wasn't a foul. So some encouraging things there. And as a matter of fact, we met with Joe Sloan after practice, and the question he was asked was about what he's seen from Blake Baker's defense facing him in practice, and he gave a big long answer. But the second part of the answer was the thing that stood out to me because it was very validating of what the defense has been able to do and what we've seen so far through 6 practices.
He makes it simple for our guys. What that allows is everything that he asks them to do, they can be physical, they can be violent, they can be aggressive, they can run to the football. And I think you're seeing that, right? And you're seeing that swagger, right, start to really show. It's been fun, right? And it's challenging, right? We go out and all of a sudden, hey, we win one, right? Hey, you know what? They win one. But we're just going to stick to our process, right, and keep challenging each other and keep raising the level of play.
My guy got stuck on the word right. We need a right count there whenever Joe Sloan's doing a press conference. But it was great to hear from Joe Sloan. We'll let you hear much more throughout the show today. But a couple other things. But you heard him say it, like, we win one, they win one. And that's how it's been. That's how it's been with the wide receivers and the defensive backs. It's how it's been with the offensive line, the defensive line. That's just how it's been. And that's kind of what you want. We'll get right back to the video, but I got to take a second and remind you about our partners at BetUS, where they're offering a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that right now, especially with the college football season right around the bend? Of course, we're inching closer to LSU, USC out in Vegas. You better get in on this action right now. Take a look. If you go to BetUS on the college football page, man, what a tasty opening weekend it is. LSU, USC. Tigers are currently a 6-point favorite. Do you think that line is going to climb? If you think so, better get in on the action right now. Total in that game, 63. 2 very potent offenses from the past few years. Might see a lot of points there with some bad defenses the last couple of years as well. What a tasty weekend. Notre Dame and Texas A&M the night before. A&M, a 1-point home favorite in that game. You want to bet on it, you can do it right now with our friends at BetUS, where, of course, you can get a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. All the info and the link is in the description of this video, so check it out. It's AFR LSU powered by BetUS. A couple of other notes from practice on Wednesday. I thought it was interesting when they went to scout. So first offense against a scout defense, first defense against a scout offense. I found it notable. We all know who the starters are right now. But it was interesting that when the second team defense went out there, I noticed for the first time they had 3 true freshmen. I mean, this isn't new, but it's the first time it really just struck me. Deshaun Spears, P.J. Woodland, Juwan Johnson. 3 true freshmen. All defensive backs, by the way, on the second team defense. I think that is a huge illustration of the impact they're expecting the influx of talent in the secondary to have. It's not about the transfers anymore. Brian Kelly's first year, they had to go get transfers. And then they lost all those guys, and so they had to go get more transfers, and they missed on all of them last year. All of them. Zy Alexander maybe with an asterisk because he played well when he was out there. Now it's about, okay, the guys we've recruited, coach them up and let them play. And that's, you're seeing Sage Ryan, you're seeing Ashton Stamps, you're seeing, as we mentioned, Deshaun Spears, P.J. Woodland, Juwan Johnson. I mean, there's 3 freshmen all out there in the 2 deep right now. They're going to play. And you're going to see them. And also, for what it's worth, the third team defense is where we saw Javen Toviano and Zy Alexander. Now, I think Zy Alexander has a chance to start when he's healthy and ready. But as he's getting acclimated, again, coming back into form, coming off the knee injury, he's running third team, and same with Javen Toviano, who, of course, has got to earn his way back in after his arrest. 2 other things from Wednesday. We saw a lot of special teams. When they ran the punt unit, this is one of the things that oftentimes is indicative of a team's commitment to being great on special teams, is how many of your key players are on your special teams units. And when LSU ran their first punt team out there were 4 defensive starters. Sage Ryan, Major Burns, Greg Penn, Harold Perkins. 4 defensive starters on punt team. Whit Weeks was out there as well. And so was Parrish Shand. So, guys you're going to count on were out there on defense. We're out there on the first team punt team. Peyton Todd and Blake Oxendorf continue to be inconsistent. Oxendorf's first 2 punts were beautiful. And then the next 2, you could tell they were kind of like he had 5 reps in a row. And then the 5th one, it would have been probably about a 15-yard punt. I mean, he kicked it onto the far field to the left. I mean, it just complete shankopotamus. So that, I would say, that is far from decided who's going to win the punting job. I was told by one of the I think it might have been Zach Nagy who told me this. Forgive me Zach, if I'm misquoting you, but that Damian Ramos made a 64-yarder. I didn't see that. I did see Damian Ramos make from 50, and then he slid back. It was either 3 to 5 yards. I was far. I couldn't see exactly how far they slid back, and he hit again. So it was beyond 50, somewhere in the 52 to 55 range. So Damian Ramos looks really good. Aiden Corbello's kicking out there as well. I did watch the offensive and defensive line pass rush drills again, and it was pretty even again as what we've been seeing. Will Campbell stonewalled Parashand. Garrett Dellinger beat Sean Washington. Really good battle with let's see, it would have been Gio Paez and DJ Chester. Good battle with Jacobian Guillory and Miles Frazier. That was a push. And then, Savion Jones beat Emory Jones. Emory Jones held on the play. But they came back and on their next rep, Emory Jones beat Savion Jones. So it's just further indicative of how you're seeing this go. I mean, about the only real steady thing, like the certainty, is Will Campbell. He never loses a rep. I don't think we really fully appreciate how dominant Will Campbell is until you just sit there and watch and realize like how he never loses a rep. When I say never, I mean he never loses a rep ever. It's incredible. Like nobody has a shot. But one of the things that was interesting, and I'll end on this note, Will Campbell. So, big freshman Ori Williams, 6'8", 334-pounder out of Texas. Huge kid. And they have him playing left tackle. And so he was taking reps as the third left tackle. And he got whipped by Gabe Relaford. No crime there. Gabe Relaford's awesome. But Gabe Relaford had a dip and just went right around Ori Williams. They made Ori go again after that. And they matched him up against Parashand, and he beat Parashand. It was a really good comeback for Ori Williams. Well, right after that, Will Campbell walked over to Ori Williams and just kind of said something to him. It was so subtle that you would have never noticed it if you didn't see it. I just happened to be standing right there. And I don't know what he said, and I don't know if it was, hey, kick your left foot back, or hey, way to come back, kid, or whatever. But it was one of those things that was so subtle that you expect the leaders on your team to do. And there's a lot of ways you can do it, man. And some people yell and scream, and some people, pat you on the helmet or slap you on the butt or whatever it may be. Will Campbell's approach is subtle, and that was a really cool moment to see a guy that's going to be a first-round draft pick and an All-American go up and give some just very subtle instruction to a young guy who's finding his way through his first fall camp. A really cool moment to see from Will Campbell, wearing the number 7 out there as well. So those are some observations. From day 6, Tigers are off on Thursday. They're back at it Friday. We do not have media availability. The next time we get to see the Tigers will be Saturday morning, and then after practice on Saturday morning, we'll get to chat with Blake Baker about how far along that defense is coming so far. Thanks so much for watching the video. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And our channel is powered by BetUS. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. All the info and the link in the description below.